On tonight's mystery, the case that made the Bermuda Triangle famous, the disappearance of Flight 19. In December 1945, in the months after World War II, a squadron of U.S. Navy torpedo bombers took off from Florida on a routine training mission and never returned. Where did they crash and why?
So altogether you had basically 27 men kind of in 6 planes just disappear over the course of a couple hours, and no one to this day knows what happened to them. And it really started this mystery of the Bermuda Triangle.
Here we are 75, 76 years later, and this mystery still hasn't been solved.
Right. Yeah, it's an amazing mystery. I mean, it really put the idea of the Bermuda Triangle in the living room of American households for the first time.
In shooting this, you go where the story is?
Sure.
So where did you go to shoot?
We were down all throughout Florida. The Petrel and Rob Kraft were in the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, a couple hundred miles offshore. With Mike Barnett and his dive team, it was about 60 miles offshore, off North Florida. So we, plumbing those waters, going right in there.
Mike Barnett and his team have been exploring a cluster of plane wrecks off the North Florida coast.
One hurdle after another. First COVID, now there's hurricanes, and it just doesn't stop.
When you're doing a documentary and following undersea divers, it's kind of cool, and it makes for, a great story. It also brings a lot of challenges for any filmmaker. What were some of the challenges that you ran into in your shooting?
Well, sure. I mean, to be totally honest, the biggest challenge for me on that particular shoot was we were going between 2 hurricanes.
With their weather window closing fast, the team can't afford another miss.
I grew up on the coast. I have some experience, on boats, but I wasn't ready for what this was. So we had like 3 to 6 foot waves, and like the swells were like 10 to 20 feet. So I was pretty sick.
Always a good time when you're trying to do your job. You've got a lot of responsibility on you. You got time pressures, and you're sick to your stomach and throwing up over the railing, or you've got your head in the toilet.
Oh yeah, man. I can tell you what my last meal was. We don't have to get into too many details on that, but yeah. It was something, but it was exciting. The excitement when they came up and just knowing that they had made positive identification on some unidentified wrecks, or positive contact on some unidentified wrecks, was exciting. It was really cool to be a part of.
So when you were out there with these researchers, explorers, divers, you didn't know what they were going to find or not find, so you don't know really what the course of your story is, how it's going to end up. You might end up with something that's pretty terrific, or you might go down a dead end.
In terms of the technical, how we were crafting our story, we knew we had a cool story. We knew we had some really interesting archival stuff with some great stories, so we knew we could count on that. But the wild card was what the big explorers were going to find out in the water.
Bridge, stand by. You got 9.
3 groups of investigators joined forces in the biggest search for Flight 19 yet.
Dead ahead, what is that?
Deep sea explorer Rob Kraft leads the most advanced research ship of its kind.
That's an aircraft, no doubt.
There are people who've made a lot of money by emphasizing the more out there aspects of the Bermuda Triangle, and they hype a lot of stuff that's kind of dubious or just outright fabrication. You guys were taking a more serious approach to the storytelling.
Sure. Yeah. Guys like Mike Barnett's a NOAA scientist. Rob Kraft has over 30 discoveries of World War II ships to his name. I mean, these guys have a reputation that precedes them. They were going to approach it with a scientific rigor.
I don't want you to give away the ending, but can you give us a sense of whether you at least moved the story forward, got at least closer to getting some answers that you had set out to find?
As far as Flight 19, we did make a discovery. We did find something that may in fact prove to be, a major part of the mystery and may in fact be, the beginning of solving this mystery. I don't want to give away too much, and we're still waiting for all of the evidence to be fully vetted. We have the U.S. Navy involved. We feature them in the documentary. But yeah, we found some things that, might have moved the dial, that definitely moved the dial forward, and we may in fact have found a key piece of the puzzle.